51 days and 45 matches later, it has come to this, the knockouts. I'm Isha Hanspal. Well, it is the first semi-final match of the 2023 ICC ODI Cricket World Cup to be played at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai in just a short while from now. 2019 World Cup finalists New Zealand take on the home team and the most successful team of this edition of the World Cup, India. Now, this is also a rematch of the 2011 semi-final at the Old Trafford when these two teams took on each other. We already know the result of that match. In fact, New Zealand has been India's eyesore at ICC tournaments. India have only recorded 2 wins over the Kiwis in 10 attempts across ICC tournaments and have lost their previous 4 knockout clashes to them. Come 2023, India, just as in 2029, go in as favourites into this clash, only this time having won all their 9 group stage matches. In other words, in the round-robin stage, they have defeated all and every other team playing this edition of the World Cup, including the Black Caps. Now, that win ended India's 20-year-long jinx against New Zealand in ICC tournaments. But the Kiwis are wanting. While India has 2 World Cup trophies, their prized scalps of 1983 and 2011, the Kiwis have never been able to lift the cup. They have come painfully close to it as recently as the super over of that ill-fated 2019 final against England. Dab Watmore here with us as always. Dab, we will go over the tactical matchups in just a bit, but the latest that we've heard from the stadium is that India have won the toss and elected to bat first at the Wankhede in Mumbai. Given the conditions, would you say they are really lucky?
Lucky? Well, Rohit tossed the coin. He didn't call, so Kane Williamson called incorrectly. So it was a good toss to win, I have to say. And no surprises there, India will be batting first.
Just looking at the records at the Wankhede, of the 4 matches that have been played in this edition of the World Cup at this particular ground, 3 have rendered wins when the team has batted first. And only 1 win has come where the team has batted second. Could you just extrapolate on that a little bit more? Should New Zealand have won the toss? Given their record of being good chasers, do you think they would have also gone in to bat first?
No way, no. They would have batted first for sure. The statistics, at least in this tournament, as you said, 4 games that were played here and 3 games won batting first, and the only one batting second was that absolute, masterclass from Glenn Maxwell, that 200 runs.
Australia.
Yeah. So the average score batting first, Isha, is a tick under 360. 357 to be exact. So I think most teams would definitely win the toss and bat first, because batting under lights, not just in this venue but in most of the other venues as well, it's a little bit tricky for that first 10 to 15 overs. So that's going to be an interesting battle for New Zealanders, when they come into bat.
Okay, we will talk a little more about the conditions and the pitch there as we get to see the conditions on the ground a little bit more. But first, let's take a look at India's 11. This
Unchanged.
this is what they're going with. Rohit Sharma, Subman Gill, Virat Kohli. Then you have Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul, and Surya Kumar, Ravindra Jadeja, and then you have the bowlers Kuldeep Yadav, Mohammad Siraj, Mohammad Shami, and Jasprit Bumrah.
Yeah, it's a group of players who have won everything, in front of them so far. We got Mohammad Shami coming in when Hardik Pandya got injured. So this group of players have been consistent in their selections and in their performances. So there was no surprises at all that India would keep the same 11. And I'm expecting them to continue in their winning ways.
Dab, this is also the same squad that India has stuck to since their last game against New Zealand that they won. How do you see New Zealand tackling this squad? We will also go over New Zealand's squad in just a bit, but looking at this, would you say, where do you think New Zealand can actually find an Achilles heel for Team India here?
Well, the last time they played, it was in Dharamshala, and it was a close-ish game, if you remember. The reason why India won that game, and they were chasing runs, was that they had a really good last 10 overs at a time when in New Zealand were expected to accelerate quickly because they had many batsmen in that last 10 overs.
Yeah.
But India did such a wonderful job. They only allowed 54, I think, from memory, 54 runs, and they took, I think, 6 or 7 of New Zealand wickets. So, you know, that is an incredible performance that allowed India to chase a score that, you know, of a total which is manageable. But even so, New Zealand didn't allow that to happen easily. So it was a close-ish game, and I'm sure that the Kiwis will be looking to ensure that they don't repeat that sort of mistake. They have to work really hard when they're chasing this time, not batting first. And it's going to be a little harder under lights, but they're going to have to get their tactics right. So no need to lose wickets early. Keep your wickets. Play a little bit conservatively. Still pick up the runs on offer, and then have wickets in hand as it gets. It tends to get a bit easier once, you know, properly the artificial lights take over. So I'm expecting, you know, tactically for New Zealand to get that right, but it's going to be difficult because India's got a very good new ball attack.
Okay. Let's now take a look at New Zealand's 11, the team they have announced that's going to take the crease today. Here it is.
Yep.
Devon Conway, Rachin Ravindra, Kane Williamson, Daryl Mitchell, Tom Latham, Glenn Phillips, Mark Chapman, Mitchell Santner, Tim Southee, Lockie Ferguson, and Trent Boult.
Right. Tim Southee in there?
Yes.
Okay, well, I've got the right 11 anyway. So that's,
as always,
yeah, that's,
very accurate.
That's 3 quicks and basically 1 spinner. Yeah, we know that Glenn Phillips has bowled reasonably okay, but he's not a full-time spinner. So the difference I can see immediately is that the New Zealand team has got a very good full-time spinner in Mitchell Santner, but that's really about it, whereas you contrast it to India, Kuldeep Yadav and Ravindra Jadeja, really good spinners. So they have, you know, the balance of the abilities go to India on that score. But that's a team that never gives up. You know, they really have a resolve about them. A bunch of guys that just try really hard. You know, not many superstars there. Kane Williamson may be one of them. Boult may be another. But really a team that just plays for each other and does the basics pretty well.
For example, how they've found Rachin Ravindra adjusted to the situation, managed to post those big totals, even in the absence of the skipper, Kane Williamson, and they've managed to make an all-rounder of Glenn Phillips there. One would say he's been taking wickets as well.
That's right.
Pretty surprising and impressive as well. Dav, if you were to look at this particular squad, as you mentioned, perhaps, you know, batting under lights in the beginning with the new ball could be a little difficult. It eases out a little bit once the innings progresses. Keeping that in mind, what do you think should be New Zealand's strategy? You said, yes, stick to the basics, try to not get your wicket, try not to give your wicket too soon, try to post those runs, play safe, stay calm, etc. But given India's record on this particular ground, if they do manage to post a huge total, what should New Zealand do?
Well, I think really the top 3 there, Conway, Ravindra and Williamson, have a very important part to play. They need to control the tempo of that game early. And that doesn't mean runs. It means, you know, playing conservatively and playing according to the delivery that they're facing. So those 3, I think, hold the key. But before that, they have to keep that total as low as possible because, as I said earlier, the average score is 357.
Yeah.
So here you have the most runs by New Zealanders, and no surprises. Rachin Ravindra is right up there. The kid has really performed absolutely beautifully, and you know, belying his young 23-year-old age. So well done to to Ravindra, Daryl Mitchell, of course, Conway, Phillips, and Will Young.
Currently the third highest wicket taker.
Well, the strike
as well.
rate is also superbly good. I mean, more than a run a ball. Same with Mitchell and Conway. They'll be looking at Conway actually as well to give a bit more of a contribution. He's been a little bit in a small trough of runs, but he needs to come good today.
Dad, the Black Caps haven't really played at the Wankhede in the World Cup this time. Do you think that will play in as a factor?
Oh, not really. Look, a ground's a ground. You know, wherever they play, India, it's going to be 99% of the crowd going for India. Probably better in Mumbai because it's a smaller ground. If it's, you know, in Ahmedabad, say, where there's 100,000 people, that's a lot more noise for the team in blue. So it doesn't matter which ground. You know, they're always going to be against the. You know, they're going to be up against it with the crowd noise.
Here it is, the top performers, the most runs from Indian batsmen. You have Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul, Shubman Gill, all featuring in the list. KL Rahul, very impressive performance, great keeping skills there, Dav. Do you, in fact, on that note, why don't we take a look at your key battles that you have lined up for us? And I'm actually curious to see if KL Rahul features in that one.
Actually, he doesn't on this occasion, but he could easily have. You know, I could easily come up with another set of 5. You know, but I'm been limited to obviously Rohit Sharma, who will open the batting, and he's got the best of the conditions to do it in. So he's batting first, and Trent Bolt, who's been a little bit down in form, but I felt he regained a little bit of his form last match against Sri Lanka. He started to swing the ball, and he was landing it in good areas consistently. So I think this could be a good matchup.
Also, a swing is something that the teams need to watch out for today. Yeah,
if it swings, it definitely will in the evening, but the Kiwis are bowling in the morning, in the afternoon, so they're going to have to be quickly assess, is it swinging? If so, how much? If it's not swinging, then you have to pull it back and bowl a decent length direction that is going across the right-hander. Virat Kohli, obviously, he's leading the run scorers in this tournament, so he's the man that all teams will be planning to get out. Lockie Ferguson is by far the fastest of the Kiwi bowlers, and I'm very sure that he'll be held back for a few against this guy, and perhaps test him on the short one. You know, he's a very good player. He's not chasing the score today, he's setting a total, so that'll be interesting in that battle. Shreyas Iyer is the next one I've got here. He's number 4 player, is a very important position, and he's come from injury and has done such a wonderful job getting 100. I know it was only Netherlands, but you still got to get the runs, and he's in the peak of form. And if the pitch behaves like we think it may help the spinners, then it'll grip a little bit more in that first half than maybe the second half. So Mitchell Santner, who's figuring right up, not right up the top, but he's got, I think, 18 or so wickets for this tournament. He'll be asked to bowl and get him out. Ravindra, first of the 2 Kiwi guys, left-hand batter, has done really well, as we all know. We've sung his praises a lot. He'll be matched up with Jasprit Bumrah, who's really keen to, you can bowl now the one that comes back into the left-hander as well, which makes it, harder for these batsmen. So, this guy won't give you any easy ones, so it's going to be a little bit, difficult, particularly after in the second half under lights. The last one is here, Kane Williamson, who's been a revelation for that team, New Zealand. He was late coming into the tournament, and he gets a big score. Then he in that next game, he gets hit on the thumb. He has to spend more weeks off. Comes back after that injury, and he gets another score. He's just a wonderful player and very, very important for New Zealand. Mohammad Shami has been another revelation in the opposition, in the blue team, who's just, hit the ground running. And I expect, Shami to be almost unplayable sometimes. So somehow or other, you've got to keep him out, and tactically get it right to chase down a score. Another good battle.
Dab, I saw you featured Rachin Ravindra as one of your contenders for the battle as a batsman, Ravindra the batsman.
Yeah.
But an important point to be noted here is that against India in the last game, he conceded only 46 runs in the 9 overs that he bowled.
Yeah.
Do you think he will come in handy as a bowler as well today?
I'm really hoping so, because I haven't put him down in my mind as a full bowler yet. But he's showing all the attributes after that very first game. You remember, he bowled some rubbish, I think the word was.
Yeah.
But since then, he's again shown improvement, which is what you want to see. I think in time he will be a full bowler. At the moment, though, he's still, I think, going to give you some deliveries to hit for 4. But yeah, he'll be required for sure today. You know, India hasn't got too many left-handers. So Santner's a left-arm spinner that'll take it away from the right-hander, and so's Ravindra.
And in fact, along with Glenn Phillips, he leaked only 58 runs in 11 overs in that particular game. So do you see Glenn Phillips getting more overs and also being featured as one of the bowlers that Kiwis can play today?
Well, if Glenn Phillips is throwing the ball today, I would suspect it's because others are getting knocked around. And that wouldn't be a good thing for New Zealand.
Yeah.
You never know. He may be given the ball, you know, and he may break a partnership. Time will tell. But generally, you know, you're looking at 4 main bowlers with you know, Ravindra to help out with the 5th, and maybe even a little with Mitchell. He bowls a little bit of medium pace, and of course Glenn Phillips.
Overall speaking, before I look into some of the comments that we've got, New Zealand have a habit to tweak their way around and manage to get those big knocks in their back. What do you see happening today? Because as lucky as India are, as we discussed, getting to bat first, New Zealand are also a good chasing side. So perhaps the toss has worked in their favour as well, in some way.
Maybe. The jury's out on that one for me, simply because it's heavily weighted to the bowling team in that first 10 overs or so.
Yeah.
So if they can overcome that, if they can manage that, then their natural instincts will kick in a bit, because as you said, they like chasing and they've had a lot of success doing it. And we're also, in their case, if you're a New Zealand supporter, hoping that dew will come in. And if it does, it'll be later in the game. So they'll need to have a few wickets up in the shed there ready to come in case of... because there'll be a requirement to accelerate a bit earlier, having gone cautiously at the start. So, again, it's going to be an enthralling match. But I still say that the first half is very important for both teams, particularly New Zealand, to restrict them to a total that they can manage to chase.
Okay, so India 9 wins on the trot. New Zealand have won 5 to get into the semi-finals. But would you still say it is going to be a close encounter, or is it going to weigh heavily on one side?
Oh, the standout team, no questions, India, no question. New Zealand, you know, find a way, and they... I'm pretty sure, though, when you say the standout team, the other 3, you know, I think deserve to be in that 4.
Absolutely.
You play to get into that semi-final, and now what we're here, it's a small second phase of it that everybody knows that, you know, one slip up, you're going home. So, you know, having fought their way and got there very easily in the end, 9 wins, brilliant effort. Now the challenge is for them to continue to maintain that focus and that intensity, and to continue their peaking ways in the next 2 games.
Also, let's not forget, 2 of those losses were actually proud losses, the ones against Pakistan and Australia.
Well, that's right. They're very close, you know, and one game was really close. So, you know, it wasn't as though they've been humbled. There was one game that was pretty bad. Apart from that, though, they've been very competitive in the other 3 losses. You know, the other times they've won.
Okay, let's take a look at a few comments, Dav, that we've been getting for this all-important semi-final. First up, okay, let me just pull these out for you. This is from Dennis Mose, who says, live watching from Dubai. Thank you so much, Dennis. We have a couple of more matches to go. Make sure you keep tuning in. This is from Shahzeb, who says, big advantage at the toss for India. There won't be the due factor till 9 p.m. Do you agree with that, Dav?
Well, I don't know. I can't definitively tell you when the due comes in, but it's a good toss to win, no question. India would prefer to bat first in these conditions, and I'm pretty sure New Zealand would as well, so it's a good toss to win.
But if the previous 4 matches were any indication, what would you say about the due factor playing?
Well, when did it come in? I mean, it came in at a time when it was too late for any teams chasing, because they lost too many wickets early. Including Australia when they won against Afghanistan at that same ground. It's only because of that masterclass from Maxwell that they got over the line. That's right, and they were chasing 280 or something.
Yeah. Okay, this is from Mohit, who says, good call to bat first. Kind of obvious considering this is a slow pitch and a pressure semis. Due might come at later part of the second innings, but a good total of 300 is always good. Pretty much what we've been talking about.
Well, they'll be targeting 300 plus, I'm sure. Being a semi-final, though, they may be a little cautious early, but I'm sure they'll be targeting 300. Yeah.
Okay. Rizwan says Rohit is lucky to have won crucial tosses throughout.
Has he? Maybe. I mean, the toss is a toss, isn't it?
Yeah.
In fact, Rohit tossed it. He didn't call. So it was Kane Williamson who called incorrectly. But you do need a bit of luck, though.
Yeah. In fact, I do have the data on that. When it comes to India winning the toss, I think India has won it on 4 occasions. And
so
the remaining 5...
less than 50%.
Yes, they haven't really won the toss. Okay, let's take the next comment. This is from Parth, who says, more like a final than a semi-final. Go well, beat blue.
Yeah,
Would you say it's like a final, though?
Well, to me, it's the hardest game. Semi-finals have always been, to me, the hardest game to win. Once you win that, then no problem. You're in the grand final, and it's a 2-horse race. Just enjoy it. So, yes, it's the first of the knockout, and which adds that little bit more spice to it.
Okay. This is from Vic, who says, big day for the men in blue at the Wankhede, and we are determined to settle the scores with the Kiwis. He's obviously referring to the 2019 semi-final, I'm assuming. Which team will secure a win tonight to enter the finals? Very simply put, Dav, who's going to win today?
I'm going for the blue. I'm going for the blue because they've been the better team.
You also have the black in there.
Yeah, I've got a bit of black in there, so I can have a bit of each way, right?
For the boys across the ditch.
Yeah. That's right. So, look, with the toss but going India's way, I think India's got the advantage, and I think they'll win it.
Okay. Just to let you know about that boys across the ditch anecdote, why don't Dav, you tell us about this Trans-Tasman rivalry?
Yeah.
Dav, as we know, is from Australia. So, because I learned this term from him, the boys across the ditch. Why don't you tell our viewers about it?
Yeah, look, for many, many years, Australia's been looked upon as the big brother of New Zealand. And going back, some time ago, New Zealand was playing in our domestic competition and the one-day competition because we were giving them some, good match practice. So that's how much, there was a difference between the perception between the two countries. But slowly, New Zealand have come up in their own right, and now are quite rightly challenging any team. As you can see, they're in the semi-final again in World Cups. So over the recent years, there's this built up a nice rivalry between these two, and it's so close as neighbours. It's been a healthy rivalry, I should say, and New Zealand have won their fair share of games as well.
For all you know, they might be playing Australia in the finals. You never know.
They might, and then you won't have big crowd in Ahmedabad.
Okay. All right. Next one is from Mickey, the next comment that I'm going to take. He says, wow, India, they have their own selected pitch, their own selected toss and their own selected ground. Why don't the ICC just gift the cup to India? That's a little unfair, Mickey. That's a little unfair. I think they are deserved.
He's anti-India, is he?
Looks like it. They are deserved contenders for the semi-finals.
Look, I believe this surface is a used pitch for over 2 games now. This is the 3rd game on it, which is a little unusual. It still may play very, very well. Let's wait and see. If it starts to turn, you know, appreciably, which is so different to what has been the surface in the previous games, then you can maybe discuss a little bit further. But at the moment, that's a bit harsh, I would think.
And a little unfair too, I'd say. Okay, this is from Hussein, who says, looking at our bowling attack and recent performance while defending the score, I'm more excited about watching India bowl more than India bat. Anybody else feeling this?
Well, it's a game of 2 halves, surely. I mean, you wouldn't be all excited watching India bowl if they're only made 150 batting first, would you?
Yeah.
I think it becomes a little bit more exciting when there's a total that the chasing team feels they can chase down. So to do that, of course, let's see what happens. You know, the average score, as I said, is 360, 367, 365. So New Zealand will want to bring that total down a little bit, I would have thought.
But Dab, India's bowling unit does deserve a mention, considering, you know, if you compare them to the previous lot of players we've had in the bowling attacks in the World Cup. Wouldn't you rather say that this is perhaps one of the best that India has boasted of?
Surely, they've bowled out oppositions more times than not. It's very good, there's no question about that, Ish, and that's why they're...
Which is why it stands out.
Yeah, they're 9 wins out of 9. You know, not only are they getting runs, but they're also getting wickets. On the occasions where they have to bowl first, like they did again, I can't remember now which team it was. They had to, they bowled them out for a total only 250 or so. Easily, you can get that batting second. So you know, if they have to bowl first, they are really on the money, and they make it difficult for the opposition. It was New Zealand that they kept them down. That's right. You know, they bowled really well to hold them to a total that they could chase down.
In fact, I read a very interesting comment from Shoaib Akhtar from Pakistan, who said that it's India's bowling attack that's been winning them the matches. Do you agree with him there, Dab?
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to stop the opposition from winning. So your attack is also very important. Surely you got to get runs. I mean, you don't have to bowl a team out to win a game. Unlike Test matches. Test matches, you've got to take 20 wickets or you don't win. So in limited overs cricket, it's 1 run more than the opposition. So that's how you win it. But the bowling team has a say in that, you know. So yes, it's very important also.
All right. The next comment that I'm going to take is from John, who says, Rohit going for Big Mac kind of high-risk approach again.
Is he? Yeah. Possibly, yeah. I
possibly.
mean, yeah, the conditions would be similar. You know, I think also if you know, if they lose a wicket early, if Gill happens to be knocked over early, you may temper that a little bit. But they've started now, and 6 runs in 4 balls without a wicket. So that's.
It looks like we have a boundary there.
Yes. Just for a change, Rohit Sharma whacks one over the leg side.
Rohit has been whacking. That's one thing he has been doing.
That's the battle I got against Trent Bolt.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is from Satya, who says, was there any wrong umpiring decision against India in this World Cup? Just curious.
I don't know. I can't. Nothing comes to mind really. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. There's a couple of others I think, you know, comes to mind with umpire's call. But I don't think so. Another 4. 10 for no loss.
Okay.
Yeah, he started where he left off in the previous game. Whack. Yeah.
Also going against being cautious and trying to keep your wicket.
Yeah, well, he's set the tone, isn't he? He's set the tone. This is the captain of India. Set the tone to be able to be aggressive and put the pressure back on the opposition, so when the wicket finally does go, number 3 and number 4 can take a little bit more time in getting settled before they go.
Well, it is said about Rohit that he doesn't really mind giving his wicket as long as, you know, as you mentioned, he's aggressive, sets the tone and gives way to the number 3 and number 4 to come in there.
That's right, that's right. He's doing it well too.
Yep. Okay. Let's go over to Kishan, who asks, first semi-final at the Wankhede, would it be about the battle of the middle order batting against spin or early swing and seam would be seen at Wankhede? Certainly 25 to 30 overs of left-arm bowling of Bolt, Santner and Rachin.
All of the above. He's got it right. You know, all of those things matter. And you know, it started now, so you won't have to wait long to see this unfold.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of lefties there, for sure.
Okay. The next one that I'm going to take is from Jig, who says, India won the toss, decide to bat first. First 20 overs, if Rohit man play, then no one can stop India to win the match. What say?
Well, that's right. They've started in that way.
Looks like,
and if he bats for another, I don't know, 15, 20 overs, they're going to easily get 300. So that's in their script, and they've started in that way, in that aggressive fashion.
So, just ignoring the first few balls that have been bowled, what would you say would have been the total here? We know the average, yes. We know the average,
yeah, I think
but how much do you think?
I think they'll be looking at 300. I think, you know, but to break it down, you know, by the 40th over, if they can get to, I don't know, 200 and 220, 230, you know, you can easily get 100 runs in that last 10 overs if you got wickets in hand.
Okay, I'm going to take the one poll question that we asked. Who will win the India versus New Zealand semi-final clash today? India or New Zealand? Very simply asked. Dab will tell you what our viewers think, and after that we will
I don't
go
have
back
to answer that, surely. I've already answered it, but that's going to be a resounding India victory.
Yes.
In the poll.
Yes, 84.8% say it is India, and the remaining 15.2% say it's going to be New Zealand. Okay. On that note, we are going to wrap this edition of Beyond World of Cricket and get back to that all-important match so that Dab and I can come back in the mid-innings show and discuss that first innings with you guys. Make sure you tune into that one as well. This is Isha signing off. Bye-bye.